I think my first sense of the organization was when I joined, I quickly walked in thinking, geez, it's a big company, right? 26,000 employees. In fact, at the time, we were still part of Woolworths, so you could argue we're 64,000 employees or something. So you walk in and you get this vibe. But immediately, what I realized was how quickly things were changing, right? Because I would look at a process or a team and I'd say, why are we doing it that way? And they say, we only put that in 2 months ago. We're trying it. We're not liking it so far. We're thinking of getting rid of it. What do you think? It was very clear how intently the business was kind of looking for those answers. They weren't checkboxes on an interview, right? But that carried right through to my first week and first month on the job, where all of a sudden I'm a product manager. There's 40 of us, right, of differing levels, but straight away we're in a meeting saying, how do we change our whole planning process? What do we think, right? What should we just throw it out and start again? And that's a pretty powerful thing to be able to have that kind of influence in an organization of this size.
Absolutely.
So I guess coming into Endeavour, I had this voice in the back of my head that said, you're going to be, you're coming into this big organization. You're going from big fish in a small pond, and all of a sudden you're in the world's one of Australia's biggest ponds, right? Don't mess it up. Not to mention, so many customers. I think I'll give you an example. Okay. Right? I'll give you an example. I joined Endeavour and we were going straight away. First thing I did, basically walked through the door. Oh, Curtis, we're in a planning period, right? So we call it BRP, big room planning.
Okay.
You've got a week to put together a roadmap. You get your team together. You talk about how you're going to build to the roadmap you put together. Then you present it back to the business. In fact, it wasn't a week. You had 3 days, right? 3 days, you got to build roadmap, present it to your team, present it to the organization. Great. See you in 3 days.
Yeah, right.
So that's obviously that's challenging, right? But there were real problems with it. I guess there was environmental problems with it too. We were doing this every quarter, right? Okay. And that means you've got one of these planning periods, and this is as I joined right in December. That's peak trading. So I gave the feedback and I said, I just don't think this is working. I think the teams are too stressed. I think the timelines are awkward with the Christmas holidays. And I think if you're planning for 3-month intervals, but you're taking 1 month to do planning, actually you're only giving people 4 sprints or maybe 5, fortnights.
Absolutely, yeah.
To deliver your dream, right? Yeah. Well, today, as of last year, the entire organization, 28,000 people now do their planning in terms or trimesters, right? And so, so that was a recommendation I had. Let's plan in 4-month chunks. Let's stagger them out away from key trading periods. Let's put a planning section in so that you can actually really deliver against it. I mean, it would have been very easy for the company to keep doing what they wanted to do, but you're talking about an event that hits dozens of teams, 500-600 technology team members, not to mention all of leadership, all of everyone, and they just tried it. Now, will it work out? I hope so. But if it doesn't, do you know what? I know for a fact no one's going to come around and say, oh, well, whose terrible idea was that, right? It was It was something we tried, something we're trying. It seems to be going well so far. We're literally in our first trimester, and we're starting to plan for the second. So
fantastic.
Here we are. For me, from my impression is I did walk through the door still expecting this to fundamentally be a big company. I still expected to hit stakeholders that were challenging, to have to go through 12-month project plans. There were some of those, but they were so few and far between, right? Some of the teams and projects that I picked up, I had to go back to all the way through to our CEO and say, we are approaching this the wrong way. This is the wrong solution. And literally with one-on-ones with our CEO said, fine, change it. And I think that blew my mind.